Welcome to a well-designed home podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Brunk, Principal Interior Designer at Timeless Designs by Melissa. We are a premier full-service interior design studio serving Sioux Falls, South Dakota, the Iowa Great Lakes, Mankato, and Rochester, Minnesota. Our mission is to create enduring, bespoke homes that celebrate a life well lived. With over 20 years of industry experience, we craft personal havens where every detail reflects the essence of your family, evoking feelings of joy, belonging, and pure delight. Join us as we transform the building and remodeling industry, one home at a time, because there's no place like your home. Hello and welcome to our podcast, A Well-Designed Home. Our episode today is talking about painting. I am your host, Melissa from Timeless Designs. I'm the red shoe wearing interior designer because there's no place like your home. So today we're going to talk to Daniel from 605 Painting, and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Well, my
Yes.
better half, or my ugly half isn't available at the moment, but
All right. So Daniel, who are you and what's your story?
all right, loaded question off the rip. Who am I? I'm Daniel Armstrong. I am a Sioux Falls local for the most part. About second, third grade is when I moved here, and that's actually where I met my business partner. It was Halloween I was in third grade. He was in second grade. His mom was ditching him at our place and happened to find out that our parents knew each other, and without even knowing that we were the same age and things like that. So I actually have a younger brother, and he has an older brother, and we found out that those two didn't have their heads spun on the right way at the time. So Kyle and I were like vibing a little bit more than the other two. So it was like we started working multiple different places, multiple different painting companies together when we were younger. And it was like, dude, we work very well together. There was some kind of chemistry, which now I know to be visionary and integrator. But before that, it was just like, we just work really well together. Well, it was just chemistry, it really was. So it just happened to be painting that we are crushing it because we're both fierce competitors and we don't care if it's thumb war. We're trying to kick you in the front teeth and we're trying to win. And it just happens to be painting. What's really cool about the painting industry as well is that it's a very unprofessionalized industry. So we're up against a very big hill that we're trying to tackle right now. But I feel like we're doing it really well. I feel like we're able to, have this kind of rolled out red carpet vibe feel for homeowners when usually hiring a painter kit, the stereotype is a little sketchy. It's like, what am I going to get here? And so we try to one up our competition by being a little different, making videos that kind of explain exactly how the process is going to go, who you're going to see, actually on camera.
Yeah, that's
like the celebrity
huge.
effect. Like if you were to see me on camera and then I'm the one quoting your project, it's kind of like, I know you.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going for. One of the things that we're going for. But yeah, I don't know. Probably took it off on a tangent there.
No, that's fine.
It's a little bit about me. I was a local student at USF running cross country. The other business owner, Kyle, he was in nursing school at the time. We were at a point in our lives where, $12 to $17 an hour wasn't cutting it. We wanted more for our families and we were willing to work very, very hard. You go into entrepreneurship for the dream of 20-hour weeks, putting in 80 hours a week, but it, to me, feels like 40. It's like, dude, I love my job. I feel like I have the best job in Sioux Falls. And now I'm blessed that I have a team of individuals around us that also feel that same way. It's insane that you have people who work for you that
you're building
want to grind. They want to help customers. And I'm like, sometimes I gotta step back and go, wow, are we fortunate? Like Kyle and I, are we fortunate that we have three other guys behind us willing to, do everything they possibly can for homeowners? And it was a challenge, telling people that's not okay. That we are going to do better. It's not okay. We're going to do better. And then after they got the vibe, that's not who we are. They're holding me accountable. Oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you. Thanks for holding me accountable, So yeah, we've just good friends from grade school and happened to be painting that we took control of. And we're very fortunate that Sioux Falls, a lot of people want to paint houses. And a lot of people, I would say industry want just a smooth process.
Yeah.
They don't want it overcomplicated. They want a smooth professional experience. And to me, it's kind of difficult to find that in the painting world. And so we're trying to change that.
Awesome. So you want to change it? How are you wanting to change it?
I think that's where we're going to go right into this.
Yeah.
High velocity, clear communication is one thing. You can have high velocity communication, but if it's not clearly executed, we've chatted multiple times, like it doesn't matter. Cool. You've talked to him a bunch of times, but it might be nonsense. So being crystal clear, the scope of work being very clear to the homeowner, letting them know exactly what they're paying for. We want it detailed. So literally on paper, you can hand to anybody, even if they're not in the painting world, and they kind of know.
Exactly.
Like
what's
dumbing
happening.
this down a little bit in a way. So that's one way. Another way is a dedicated project manager actually on job sites. That's something we didn't have in our early stages of our business because we were just trying to figuring this out, navigating through what does it look like to even own a business. And after a couple of years, it was like, oh my gosh, we can't just have a person on the project occasionally, like very rarely. We need somebody on the project holding our painters accountable, holding their hand to the brush or their hand to the caulk gun and saying, hey, you missed a spot. And that's not acceptable. And that right there is crucial. When I have somebody trained, like my project manager, Heath, he's the reason why we have the most 5-star Google reviews in like a 4 to 5 state region in our area. So out of anybody in North Dakota, I'm sorry. Out of anybody in Nebraska, I'm sorry. Keep going on the list, except for my friends in Minneapolis and Colorado. They exceed us currently, but they've been in business like 3 times longer than us. So good luck. We're coming for you. But yeah, like we're competing nationally. This isn't like a local thing. I think we've already surpassed them. And now we're looking nationally to compete with our peers to be the absolute best in the nation. So
that's pretty awesome.
It is. It's cool when like our team has been able to meet some of our peers in the industry across America because we take them to a couple of the events and now they know like, yeah, we're having meetings with other painting companies around the nation, making sure that we're not just, off the cuff coming up with these ideas. We're asking for advice, being vulnerable enough to be like, dude, what would you do in this scenario? How would you handle these clients? You're clearly crushing it. I want to be like you, not reinventing the wheel, but just putting it on our vehicle that's already rolling really well.
Yeah. How long have you guys been in business?
Been in business 5 years, going on 6. 6 years will be July 16th.
Okay.
So it's coming up.
Yeah.
It's coming up. It's actually insane. It's insane.
Time flies when you're having fun.
It does. It does. And I look at it, I'm like, what are we going to do in the next 5 years? That blows my mind with what we're capable of doing. So, yeah, I would say we've been in business a decent chunk of time, enough to know a lot. And we dive way more into it than most people. With the way the business is set up now, that's a lot of what I do. It's like education, learning. And I just like blast it down to our team. Hey, here's what so-and-so is doing. Tweak that. Or here's what they're doing. Let's use it. But maybe use a different rim. This is the tire they're using, but let's use a different wheel. So, yeah.
So was there a moment you realized that you wanted to offer more than just painting services? You wanted to elevate the industry. Was there like a defining moment that you were like, that's what we need to do?
No, I wouldn't say it was like one defining moment. I just feel like in the core of who we are, we want to do the best. But sometimes we don't think, right? We're going off feelings, not data. We don't feel like people would want to pay for that. And I challenge my team every time they say something like, I don't feel. And I'm like, okay, well, you know where I'm going with that immediately. Like if they say they feel something, I'm like, okay, well, what does the data say? Regardless of what we feel. What we know is that people will pay for a color consultation. I just referred you actually a little bit ago to a homeowner.
Yeah, and we're meeting to go over all of the colors, so thank you.
Yeah, 100%. We dropped the ball on that one. I wasn't aware of it, but after I figured out that the ball was on the ground, I picked it up. I told her we'd repaint her house free of charge. I'd replace a sliding door for her,
happy about that.
free of charge. Cover on us. And I don't think there's another painting company in town that would do that for a homeowner. So then I referred you. I'm like, hey, color selecting process on this one. You take it away, and then we'll button up the painting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that's been fun. She was super like, I can't believe it. I mean, it's amazing. And I said, well, that's what they do.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so rare for us to drop the ball, but there's a difference between knowing it and owning it and then making it right.
Right.
And the last little part, making it right, that's what I don't think enough people do. They can own it and be like, yeah, you know what? I did blow it.
We screwed up.
My bad, man. My bad. Okay, now what? And that's where I feel like we do the absolute best for anybody looking for a paint job, no matter what the what ifs. Are they going to be in business in a couple of years from now to take care of that warranty that they're saying? Even though I would say our warranty is the longest in the city to my knowledge. So, yeah.
All right. So if we talk about systems, you talked about that briefly. Can you walk us through how your estimating system works and why it stands out?
Okay. So we call it accurate written proposals. It was guesstimating when we first started painting. And it's just, that's just, you're just thrown into it. It's like, well, I used to paint. Now I need to estimate. How am I going to do this? And we didn't have any data besides how many gallons. And so now it's actually taking a wheel and measuring, if this is an exterior project we're quoting, we're an exterior season. So that's where my brain has been recently.
Right.
But exterior measuring all the siding lengthwise, and we use laser to get the peaks and the higher length and height. And then we charge it by a production rate. So industry standard. Again, we're phoning our friends down in Florida, and we're like, what's it going for? What do you pay most painters per hour? And we throw that into our CRM, and we're able to spit out a production rate, like an actual price.
Okay.
Keeping our materials at a certain price, knowing that everything, as long as the homeowner says yes, we should be profitable. And on every single project that we're not digging ourselves a hole and we can't afford to take care of. I think it's Susie with the repainting of some things. So yeah, people are going to make mistakes. Will they be able to even afford it? Hiring somebody to be able to make it right is important for me, I guess, in my hiring decisions, and a lot of people as well.
Yeah. So for homeowners that are listening, what does it look like when a painting company doesn't have a defined process and a system in place?
Good question. Maybe it looked like us in the first couple months of us operating our business. Instead, I'm going to flip it and tell you what we do. And maybe it will kind of answer that at the same time. As a homeowner, when you call a painting company, good luck getting them to answer the first time around, right?
I have heard that a few times, yeah.
And it's not just painting, right? This is like trades.
Industry as a whole.
But like painting specifically, like chucking a truck is probably not going to answer his phone that first time around. Now we have an office coordinator who answers the phone, Monday through Friday, all the time. And then on top of that, you don't even have to call anymore. We have such a slick and efficient way for homeowners to book their own estimate with us online. So you choose the day, you go on our website and you can choose the day and it will pop up all the times. So it's like, you don't even have to talk to anybody. It could be 8:00 at night and you're like, obviously no one's going to answer the phone at 8, 9, 10.
Right.
I do a lot of my unknown shopping at like 10 o'clock when I'm laying in bed, like on Facebook. And it's like, I'm shopping. I don't even realize I'm shopping, but I'm getting hit with ads in front of me. And if I do happen to do it, I'm never going to call them right then and there while I'm laying in bed.
Very true.
But you can, so these are all the things that, again, we have the headspace to even think about. And so I want it to be that efficient for a homeowner. Click on it, click the day. You're going to have like 5, 6 different times or 10 different time slots. Click it and we're there. We do not, yes, we've dropped the ball occasionally, but we do not ever try to change. Like if it happens to double book for whatever reason in our system, we just had that yesterday. And instead of recalling and rescheduling the estimate, I will take it. I have the freedom in our business where we will not make it an inconvenience for the homeowner to have to reschedule, because we've had it too many times where it's like, yeah, we just make it work. And that's how I sold one out in Harrisburg. She had a previous painter. She goes, it just wasn't like super smooth, right? But like he did an okay job. And I was like, okay. And what about the other guy? Well, the other guy, I tried calling. We scheduled an appointment. He rescheduled me 2 to 3 times. And you showed up on the time. And I'm like, you know what's funny? I'm not even supposed to be here right now. Like, you're supposed to have somebody else, but we made an error somewhere on our end. And that's why I'm here. So that way it's convenient for you. And we just buttoned up her project on Harrisburg. We think we painted her house like all black, mostly. And I was like, that is awesome. Like, so yeah, we want to make it super smooth process for the homeowner, obviously an inconvenience to us. So similarly, like if we bid out a project and this happens where, again, we use our data that we currently have, but if it's off for whatever reason and it needs 20 more gallons, let's say it's a very large project, we underbid at 20 gallons based off our math, we're never going to the homeowners and saying, hey, we kind of botched this. We call it fixed and final. Unless you're choosing to add something onto it,
Sure.
our prices are fixed and final. We'll deal with the repercussions if it's something like an error of an estimator or a project manager. So yeah, I think that's
that
a
is
lot.
very unique in the industry.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't worked for a lot of the other guys, but I'm like, like this is a very unprofessionalized industry. Like it's probably going to happen, the last minute price increase. And if any of that ever try to happen, it's like, then it gets up to management level. And again, it gets to our court. It's like, there's no way I'm holding this basketball and I'm going to drop the ball if I'm the last person to, get it dished to me. We had that with our 300 and I think 40 something or 334 Google reviews. We had one of them that on there, she got hit with a last minute price increase. And it was like, whoa, what happened there? It got to me and I was like, no. Called her, able to immediately deduct that. I was like, no, this is our fault. We will own this. And the review's still out there, but it's like, it doesn't matter if somebody drops the ball. We're human. We're going to drop the ball. It's what are you going to do with it after? Yep. And I think that's right there. That's the difference. Go look at Google reviews and look at how people respond. Anybody is entitled to an opinion, but it's how do they respond and are they willing to make it right? We are every single time. So
that's unique in that. So I don't know if you mentioned while we've been rolling, but before you were talking about your warranties. Well, you did talk about your warranty. So let's chat about your warranty.
Okay. Well, it kind of bleeds into another awesome feature that so far in Sioux Falls, nobody to my knowledge is doing in the paint world. This is really awesome. This is kind of newer to us and it's like a headache, but awesome experience at the same time. Our team is pretty excited to do this. It takes more administrative things and looking over to ensure that we can do this for our homeowners, but we're going to do it. And so that's offering 3 different options, usually for homeowners. So instead of homeowners shopping around with our competitors, why not let them shop with us? And they already want to, but maybe that first price point isn't for them. Or maybe they have an extra little bit in their pocket and they're like, I do want to invest a little bit more in my home with interest rates spiking and I don't want to sell my home. I want to reinvest into it.
Yep.
So we offer 3 different paint packages where we offer a 2-year warranty, a 3-year warranty, and then up to 5-year warranty. And the things that change with that are warranty, paint, and then caulk. So it's something that's simple. Like for exteriors, it's like, yeah, you can buy some not so great things. We can paint with that too. Most of the people don't even, and most people don't even know what our competition is even put in their home. And I'm like, look, that's pretty easy for us. Here's our 3 that we offer for you. And obviously the better the product, I can offer a better warranty. Are you willing to pay for it or not? But it takes
the first time.
It's strenuous and we're working with some tweaks to still pull it off on our end, but it's difficult to pull off. It's a lot easier to dish out one kind of thing for every homeowner.
So you're doing a good, better, best essentially for every quote.
Yes. Yep. Basic, better, best system. For us, we call it a BBB and it's been super efficient. Our homeowners love it. I was on the phone doing a follow-up call yesterday when again, it was not an inconvenience. I came through and I gave the estimate. And he was like, I had it on speaker. My project manager was over my shoulder listening. He's like, I loved that you actually had 3 different options for me. I have a buddy who I got quoted out and I still haven't received his estimate just yet. And I'm like, what's crazy is when I was on the site, I was like, hey, I'm going to actually have prices for you here in 20 minutes. We have on the spot proposals. That's how data driven we are. We can do that. And I said, hey, I know I'm probably not the first guy. Did the other guy give you any prices yet? Oh, he says he's going to, send it over to later tonight. And I'm in my head, I'm like, okay. And then I follow up over the weekend. Yesterday was Tuesday. Still nothing from that guy. I was awesome. That's why I love my job. I know there's a need for homeowners and I can find it very frustrating. If you're trying to call, it gets exhausting. You don't have to do that here. Not with 605.
Yeah. And being data driven, you're able to take that information and no one likes office work, busy work, paperwork. And so if you're able to be on site, you're there and you're done and it's, on to the next thing, and then you follow up. And so you're not constantly touching that item. It's you're there and it's done. That's really great.
And we do have somebody who loves numbers, loves the sheets, the Google Sheets, and he's our office coordinator, and he makes everything so easy for all of us because he does enjoy it and he does solving those little problems. And I might be able to point out the problem, and we'll be able to work together collectively to make that, make it a solution.
Yeah.
So he loves the data. He loves the numbers. I'm not the great with numbers. I'm great with people. I love doing things right with people. But I'm like, I don't know if the numbers are great. Can you fact check me? And he's like,
Right.
Yep, okay, we're good.
All right. We talked about guarantees. Okay, so raising the bar for the trades. Okay, so you said that you do training and certifications. What do you guys do for ongoing training for your crews?
It's ever going. I do a lot of it, and I trickle it down into the team. And that's phoning friends in the industry, which I've touched on a lot recently. Minneapolis, New Prague, Minnesota, like really looking at the top guys. When you think design, maybe there's a couple people in your head that's like, yep, these guys I look up to. So that's one of them. One thing that I do. Another thing, certifications. To my knowledge, we're the only painting company that has lead certification here in town.
Oh, sweet.
So my project manager and I, in the middle of the winter, that was not fun. It was a lot. Like, it's an outdated certification. Like, it's kind of boring. Like, it's like rubbing your eyes. We sat down for like 3 days. We crunched it out on top of doing our other duties.
All the other things.
We had to sit down in the middle of the winter, and I'm like, dude, we're doing this. We're different. We need to continuously be different. And we've got a lot of people who are like, hey, I have this lead house. Nobody says they can do it. And the guys who do, I'm a little worried. And I'm like, you should be, after what I learned, because it's very, very dangerous. And so, my project manager and I, if you go on our website, you'll see like it'll go through our team, and there's a little badge icon. You can click on it and see our certification.
Wow.
So there's not too many certifications you can really get in the painting world. That's how unprofessionalized it really is. But it's like, dude, we're going to do that. One thing we were just talking about this morning was going and touring a Diamond Vogel paint manufacturer down in Orange City, Iowa. And so it's like, we want to know a little bit more. We want to know some of the chemistry back end stuff. So there's some educational.
It's interesting.
It is. And it's like, dude, this is our world. We love it already. Let's get consumed by it and dive in a little bit. So our team is like, dude, let's do it. Let's go. Let's schedule it for the off season. Let's go tour it. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. That actually sounds really fun. So it's like a little tidbit. We hope to learn some. Going out with like our paint reps and our entire team. We want to learn. Tell us more. But a lot of it's me. I've done before we even started the painting company. I was researching like business development and how to rank high on Google. And then also painting, because I was like, all right, I think it's going to be painting that I open up and start a business. And then it was learning a ton about painting when I really didn't even know much about painting. My business partner knew a lot about painting. But I was like, I love to learn. I never want to show up to a test not studying.
Right.
So I'm the study type. So I studied for 2 years, and then I was like, do you want to do this? Like, are you sick and tired of your wage? Let's change it. And we were able to do that because he's amazing at painting. We're a very fast, efficient team painting as well. And then you switch that over into business. We're not great with the numbers. That's why we have the office coordinator, but it's like,
that's why you do that. Yeah.
We both love helping people, and painting is just a solution for, our customers.
So is he out painting?
No, my business partner couldn't make it right now because he's out giving a bid at the Empire Mall.
Okay.
There's a store manager last minute, needed something done ASAP. I text him like, hey, you going to be there? I didn't see anything in the schedule. And he's like, I had to go. And I'm like, I get it. But I said, good luck. Like, roll with the punches,
So you guys started painting, and now both of you have stepped back because you have team members in place to do the things.
Yeah. It was probably a little bit of the need of Sioux Falls was so high, year 2 in our business. And we were so good. We were, our Google reviews, because Kyle and I as a team, like our customer service, it was unmatched. Clearly, our Google reviews are skyrocketing up into the 100, 200. And it was like, we need to change things. Like, we have 126 customers right now wanting painting quotes. And it was like him and I.
That's
like,
insane.
What do? You drop the paintbrush. And I dropped the paintbrush a little sooner. And I was like, dude, this is a problem. I started crunching the numbers. I'm like, we're missing out on a lot of money. were upsetting customers, which I don't want to upset anybody,
Mm-hmm.
but now I'm upsetting them at the simplest thing of even getting back to them.
Yeah.
Which again, most
Comes
people
down to your
most people will just
technology.
let it pile up and they'll just do 100 and they'll just do their job and I'm out 50 weeks. It's like,
Mhm.
cool, that's good for you, but not for when you want to help, not for when you want to be able to have that, 2-week, 3-week turnaround time.
Mhm.
That's us year round, always, no matter the size of the project, 2-3 weeks. That's kind of the goal. So yeah, if anything gets over that, it's like red line. We need to make a new system and tweak
Sure.
something. But yeah, year 2, I stopped painting before him and kind of solved that issue. And then it was labor, and then I took over labor because it was a very hefty problem and kind of fixed that and started training people like crazy because I have an education background.
Mhm.
And so yeah, I fell in love with teaching, and then you get some people who are like dozing off like they're in college, not paying attention. It's like, oh man, that was exhausting. But when you find people who love to paint and this is a career for them,
Mhm.
that's the people who we want. And that's
Mhm.
the people we have right now. It's insane. Like my project manager, Heath, right now has 3 teams where they can knock out 21 projects in a week. It's insane.
Wow.
Nobody's able to do that. We had an entire HOA last year that we did in 5 days, 2 colors, the entire city block down and back. And I'm like, it's magical what we've been able to, where we started, where
Yeah.
we're at now. And then when we're at a home show, I hear from somebody, hey, I wish we hired you on our HOA because
I
it
was
went
across from you and I heard
because
that
it went
all
really
weekend.
yeah, you were across from us. And it
Yeah.
was like, oh, because it took forever. And I heard price negotiations, how they underbid the project, and it didn't go really fast. It was a very long, lengthy one and hard to get a hold of them after they collected the check. And I'm like, that's all right. You'll learn. We all live and learn. Me too.
Mhm.
Just give us a call next time. It'll save a lot of headache.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so you mentioned like industry events. So what kind of industry events are there for painting?
Great question. I didn't know this existed. I didn't know this like industry of painters existed.
I didn't know that was a thing. Like there's the builder show, there's a kitchen bath, but there's a
Yeah.
painting show?
At first, it was just surviving. You're just like floating in the middle of the ocean, so you think all
Mhm.
you're by yourself. And that was like the first 2 years of our business. And then year 3, it's like I saw land, and that was like an island of painting entrepreneurs who are going through the same struggles I am. And I had
Hmm.
no idea it existed. But it's like, let's start swimming that way. Finally get on the island. It's like, hey, let's go visit that island in October. Let's go visit that island, Orlando, in February, or Colorado Springs in February the following year, where you really get to meet with everybody.
Mhm.
Like by that, I mean other business owners and their project managers. So they're bringing these people that you can learn from. And so then I get to make friends. Like my project manager, now he has a friend in Philadelphia, Hyler Painting, like super successful, the best painting company in Philadelphia. Shout out to those guys. A monthly meeting where he's meeting with him. He's like, here's the issues I'm going through.
Oh, that's
A
cool.
completely different, and that's what I wanted. But it's like I had to build the culture, Kyle and I, in our business in order for him to buy in like that.
Mhm.
So it's just super, super neat. And so I have the most free time in the business with education. So I'm
Mhm.
doing a lot of that. There was a residential conference. Residential is our main thing. We love to deal with homeowners directly.
Mhm.
We find it super satisfying. That's kind of our niche. We will do new construction. We will do new commercial. Absolutely. We love doing repaints, residential repaints with homeowners or business owners. Those are some of my favorites. Dealing with business owners, and then we get a paint for them on top of it.
Mhm.
And I get to talk about maybe the struggles they're having or the successes they're having. So we love doing repaints. We went to the repaint residential conference in Minneapolis, brought the entire team there. It was close enough. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And then we actually offered our team if they wanted to go to Colorado Springs, this last one, or a hefty Christmas bonus, and they chose the Christmas bonus, which is great. But these guys still like they're having Zoom calls,
Mhm.
conversations. I'm calling my boys down in Florida, Provision. Like I'm asking these guys like, what are you doing? What systems, technology? How can I make it more efficient for myself, my team, and my customers? And so it just kind of trickles down to
Mm.
all these different conferences, meetings, phone calls, late nights,
Mhm.
But hoping I can tweak that, especially with the baby coming, my wife and I expecting. So all that hard work is definitely going to pay off. Making things super smooth for my team. I tell everybody I want to make your life easier, no matter what, more efficient. We're going at that every single day, 1% better every day.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you have a team member who wants to move up in the business, do you have certain
pathways for them to go from being on the paint team to a paint leader?
Mm-hmm. Great question. Yes. Starting as a painter
Mm-hmm.
or starting as a door knocker. So we have a sales, we have sales that need to bring jobs in,
Mm-hmm.
and we have painters who they could elevate into leadership at some point, which is actually what we have going on right now. We have both of one of our project consultants, Nate, salesman. We call him project consultants because we're really consulting with our homeowners.
Mm-hmm.
He was a painter for like 3 years. He was riding with us, through the ups and the downs, and it was like he got to see and understand. And so now when he's estimating a project, it's a lot easier knowing exactly how much time approximately it's going to take to prep that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one example of somebody who's kind of moved up. Similarly to Heath, our project manager currently started painting, a little bit less time than Nate. Nate's been with us probably 4 or 5 years. I mean, truly, it's insane. And then Heath has been with us 2-3 years,
Mm-hmm.
and he started off as a painter his first year, project management year 2 and year 3 now. And like, this is a career for these guys now. And that's why they're like dove in.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably started off as a job to them as painting. And then they saw our business was like, dude, this is a career. I can
It's
see you
different.
guys I want to be a part of this for a long time. And so that's where they're like, dude, can I move up? Like, I see what you guys are doing. Could I be a part of that? Could I go to that conference? Could I make friends with these guys? I'm like, absolutely, dude. If you're willing to buy in, and then it's like, oh my gosh, we're moving at light speed right now. We're learning, implementing so many new things. That's where we needed some help in the office, and that's
Mm-hmm.
where we got Dylan, our office coordinator. Gosh,
The
yeah,
spreadsheet guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's so smart. I mean, it's like you're just like a weight lifted off your shoulders when you get somebody like that on your team. And yes, we have a
Mhm.
business coach too, so that's one aspect and person we reach out to as well, who knows all of the aspects of our business. And then you have them working together
Mhm.
to fix problems, and it's like, man, so fortunate, very blessed.
All right. Why is being bonded, insured, and licensed more than just a checkbox? And what risks are homeowners taking if that's not something that their other painters they're looking at have?
Knock on some wood. Never had an insurance claim, right? And that's really because like we don't want our homeowners to ever go through that. It's not
Mhm.
saying we've never made a mistake. One thing that you're going to see, lead is insane. Like lead is the most scariest thing absolutely ever. Watching those videos, yes, it was, like mundane, going through the motions, but we were able to see how serious it was. That was the biggest takeaway was like, don't let anybody touch your home if it's lead unless they are certified. Look at that certification because you're going to harm people around you. It might harm yourself, life or death. Like truly,
Yeah.
it's insane. Just, barely nicking it and exposing that debris into the air. You won't be able to see it. It gets on a toy. Kid, goes,
Mhm.
they have lead poisoning. It's so serious that the more you learn about it, it scared the bejeebers out of us.
My
It's like we came out of a
friend's
haunted
son-
house.
Yeah, my friend's son had lead poisoning
Sheesh.
severely. It was a
Yeah.
big deal.
Yeah. So, those kinds of things. If, the painter doesn't have insurance, you don't see it. All of our accurate written proposals come on the sidebar. There's a drop down with all of our insurances on there. So like
Mhm.
you can see all of it. You can see when it expires. What if they get paint all over your roof? Because we're working on roofs. What if? And they don't have insurance and they all of a sudden ghost you.
Mhm.
I ask homeowners when they tell me other horror stories. I go, did you Google this person? I know it sounds silly and like who trusts Google? A lot of people do. Did you Google them? No. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, oh my gosh. That person isn't even on Google. Where did you even get their number?
And to think if they're doing interior work, you're having them in your home.
Having their home, right? Carpet. You get paint all over carpet. What are you going to do? Laminate flooring and interior houses, moving fridges, scratching their laminate. We've replaced floors for customers. Again, comes out of our pocket, not theirs.
Mhm.
It's a learning moment for us. We got to be better. We got to know better. We got to inform the homeowner better. So we just take it on the chin. So like all those kinds of aspects of like the scariest what ifs.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. What if they get paint overspray all over your car? What if?
Oh man, that would be so bad.
Who are you gonna call? Give us a call.
Yeah.
Like those things. Those are the horrors. Some of them that heard about.
Someone has actually had overspray on their car.
Yeah. It usually happens like in like apartment buildings and things like that. There's a couple. I'm a big fan of Google. I love not only looking at our competition in town, but our peers in the industry. And I'm like scouring and learning from all of their Google pages everywhere. And yeah, some of them even in town. It's some like an apartment building. You really got to know what you're doing in an apartment setting, which a lot of them you're dealing with a property management company where it's like, hey, just get it done. Just get it done. It's like, whoa. Get all these cars out of here right now.
Well, and if your exterior, is the sun beating down on it? Is it windy? I mean, all of those things play into it. And if you're just like, go, get it done, don't take that into consideration.
We had a project out in Watertown right now, an absolute behemoth of a project on one of the lakes out there. And it's been postponed 2 weeks due to wind. So, all those factors. We got another house we're putting off with a really dark color until next week when it's going to be in the 50s. So, like, all of these like little tiny things over time are why nobody will even touch us. Nobody will come close. It's just little tiny things. Nobody has the headspace usually to even look at that. So, yeah.
Yeah, it can be super frustrating. If your painter's like, well, we can't do it this week because it's windy. Well, then you super appreciate it or if it's super hot and sunny, I mean, it is frustrating, but in the end, you end up with a much better finished product.
Yeah, I got an unread text right now from a homeowner who's like, you're totally right. I checked. I called the paint store. I fact checked you, and I can't wait for next week when it's lower in the 50s. And I'm like,
makes a difference.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
Because I love to learn, and we're gonna make mistakes. But if I'm gonna fail very fast. I'm gonna fail forward. So
yeah. Okay, so leading into 5-star client experience, how does your team approach appearance, branding, and etiquette make you stand out in the industry?
Good question. We try, pick your battles is one thing too. I know there's some teams are like, here's our very strict wardrobe. It's a tricky one. We want you to appear professional. And it's like, how do you make that look like that with most people in a professional setting would say no shorts whatsoever. Well, I don't like that.
But if it's 95 and sunny out, I mean, you don't want your guys melting either.
Yep. Collared shirts are almost a must for all of our guys. As far as like our leadership team, we call it our leadership team in the house, 5 of us. And then, our painters, we clothe our painters. We really clothe them. Shout out Monarch Sales. We really clothe them. Like we have an order of like $3,000, $4,000 worth of t-shirts and sweatshirts and long sleeves.
And that's not what any other companies do, generally speaking.
I worked for a competitor in town, one of the best ones, and we had to pay for our own t-shirts. So we clothe all of our guys.
Nice.
I want them, like some of the stuff that we're giving them, like a Carhartt hoodie, is like, a lot of you guys are like, dude, this is my nicest sweatshirt. I'm like, what the heck? Are you serious, dude? That's ridiculous. Like, let me hook you up. Like when I hear those kinds of things, I'm like, no. We're going to clothe you. We're going to talk to our paint store, see if they can help us out on this. And they have. Shout out Sherwin-Williams, shout out Norberg's. They've done that. So like, we don't rest until like our people are taken care of. Our leadership team, our painters, we're working with people. It's like, can we slap a Sherwin-Williams logo? Can we slap a PPG logo there? Like, can we do anything to get more and better t-shirts, dry fit long sleeves? Like those are things that like people, when they're working out in the sun, they want. They want these things. It's usually one of those things that, it's a sticky note on the desk. Like, I'm like, we care about our people. My project manager, we're sitting there talking. He's tearing up talking about it, his painters that he cares for. I'm like, dude, I feel you. I'm not as emotionally connected to them as I'm, we scaling the business. But like he is where I used to be. So I know exactly where he was because I was the project manager of this company for many years. And so his voice is crackling and everything like that. And he cares. And I'm like, dude, I'm on it. That's my goal. Like that's my job now. It's my responsibility to make sure I can pull that off. So, yeah.
Okay. So communication, you touched on that briefly. What standards do you have put in place to make sure that you're getting that message out clearly and understandably?
Okay. So here's an analogy that we give when we're communicating with homeowners. If it's not valuable, don't say it. Don't send it. similar to a pizza coupon. Nobody calls the pizza companies and says, I don't, this is annoying. Quit sending me pizza coupons. Why? Because they're valuable. If it's valuable information, people will want it. That's the kind of stuff that we want to give homeowners. We want to give them valuable information to where it's never like, oh, 605 painting is hitting, they're in my email again. It's like, we should be educating you with enough value. You shouldn't be giving us that kind of response. And if we do as a business, we got to like look at ourselves and go, are we doing something wrong here? You know what I mean? Like, could we shed some more value here? That's what we do. We work with like our marketing team, and yes, I'm the head of marketing, but I deal with people to help me pull all this off. And it's that value and communicating. So we have automated stuff that we have go out at specific times in the project. Hey, heads up here, heads up there, reminder, we're power washing, close your windows. Again, I learned that because I scoured our competitors in town, Google reviews, and one of the negative ones was, showed up unannounced and power washed inside of my house because my windows were open. And I'm like, okay, noted. I can learn from other people's mistakes without having to go through it myself. Not saying that we're not going to make, but that's just how much research I do. I do all of this. I'm looking at all of our, I was like, okay, this guy's pretty good painter, right? There's some good painters in town. Where have they fallen? Can I prevent it?
Yeah.
And I start implementing it.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So that's like a lot of what I do, not just haircuts and car washes to my leadership team. Like that's what they joke. But yeah, like those are the little nitty gritty things that like, who's going to do it if I'm not doing it? I don't know. I just happen to do it for the moment until we get better systems on that side of things. But yeah.
Nice. Oh, tell us about your post-project follow-ups. How do you make sure the final 5% of a job when you leave has a lasting impression?
Okay, so our project manager tries his absolute best. The most important visit of anything is going to be the final walkthrough, ensuring that the caulking was there, because that's where painters are going to skip out on the most, as well as the sanding or the scraping. Those are like the main things that a painter, if they're feeling a little lazy or if they're just getting burned because the sun's cooking them, are going to naturally skip out on, even if they're not like an evil human being purposefully missing. It's like, oh, I just didn't have the effort. I didn't even look up there. That's where our project manager comes through in the back end and make sure, hey, get here, get here, get here, because his pay is affected by that. The amount of callbacks we get. So now he's got skin in the game.
Yeah.
So as soon as we implemented that, oh boy, he really is like, I'm really good at being firmer with a loving tone. He would argue not necessarily the loving tone, but it's this good fine balance of maybe he's too nice and
that's that 1% every day.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like this constant, like the really late phone calls up to 2 a.m. a couple days ago, like him and I are having, and it's like, this is what we need to do in that project. Here's what I would do in that scenario. And I'll let him vent. You know what I mean? He has no one to vet to but me. And then it's, here's what I would do, Heath. And every time he's like, thank you. I learned something every time. So if I can just help him a little bit on that project, a little bit on this project, our customers will be that much better off. But as soon as he started like getting docked pay wise, when we got callbacks, it's unacceptable to me. If we have 20 projects and we have one callback, okay, maybe there's a simple error, 5%. If it's above 5%, what happened there? We need to look at ourselves and go, are you not looking good enough? Should I create a checklist for you when you're there? Like all these kinds of things that need to be implementing, because it's either a people problem or a process problem. And for me, that's why I try to look back at it and go, hey, it's not you, bro. That's me. It's a process problem. I need to create the process so you can follow it. And if we have the process in place, you still don't follow it, now it's a you thing. So it's a process or people problem.
Well, and if you have that process in place, you're scalable.
Yeah.
And everybody can follow that process.
Yep. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm just, my head's spinning on all the other stuff.
Okay, so for someone who is building or remodeling, what do they need to think about as far as when they're having a painter come in? Are there any like things to prepare for or things to consider?
The general contractor themselves or the homeowner?
The homeowner. Well, this is homeowner based,
maybe a little
but
bit
maybe
of both.
both. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah.
For my experience with that, it would be, expectation is really, when you get into those kinds of environments, expectation is everything. We can come in there too and roll and brush the trim. We can do that. Or we can spray it. We can not fill in nail holes. or we can fill in nail holes, sand, spot prime, and 2-coat, paint. So all these like nitty gritty things of what exactly am I paying for when you're building is so vital. And we make sure we check all them boxes because we don't want last minute, like all of this comes into play. Like the floors should be installed. Most people are like, oh, I'll get the flooring replaced before the painters. And it's like, okay, cool. But like the way we do it, because I'm assuming you want it perfect, get your floors installed. Then we'll come in and spray the trim because we're going to have to fill it after the install. Nail holes will be there. We have to fill it. And if you,
I was going to have you elaborate on that. So
why
would someone need to have the nail holes filled and sanded and spot primed and painted?
Well, let's say we spray the trim at our shop. Cool. They're all mint and perfect. Now the flooring guys, after they install the floors, they go to install these baseboards. Nail punch, nail punch, nail punch, nail punch. There's a black hole. There's a black hole. There's a black hole. Some homeowners don't mind. Some builders don't mind. Cool. But we're going to cross that bridge before we get there. Are we doing that or are we not?
Right.
Because if that's the case, sure, I can put, prime and paint at the shop. But once you install, wait till everybody's out of there. Now we go through, prep off your nice, beautiful, brand new floors, and then we fill, prime and then paint again. So, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, if you haven't been in all those different sectors or divisions, it could be challenging. But thank goodness, like even my business partner's dad's been painting for like 40 years, and he works for one of our competitors that really isn't even a competitor. Like he mostly does new construction. We normally don't. So like it's awesome to have friends in the industry, even in the city, which we have with some of our competition as well. I would just call it competition, but nonetheless, we all want to learn. We all want to give good items to homeowners or good service to homeowners. Right. But it's like, do you really want to go above and beyond? Okay, that's what we're shooting for here. That's what we're shooting for. Yeah. And then I'm just blown away by all the ideas my guys come to me and say, hey, here's one way we could blow our customers' minds. Which
is great because they're the guys, the boots on the ground in front of the clients in the homes doing the things. And so that's great that they feel empowered to come to you and say, this is something we can do. Let's do it.
Yeah, they're coming up with ideas. I'm like, slow down. I love that idea. How are we going to pull that off? Maybe we put that onto the docket for wintertime and let's see how we could do it. Like if it's something valuable more for our homeowners and better, how could we do that without putting a huge strain on our office team and our production team? Because a salesman, our project consultants could say, we will rub your back at the end of our paint jobs. And it's like, okay, guys, like how are we going to implement a lot of what you guys are saying? So it's just like this awesome dynamic of, not overselling and under delivering, but can we just be real with them? And if hopefully we're underselling, over delivering on and then that's what we do with scheduling too. It's like, oh, we'll be out a month. And we call them like a couple days later. You mind if we get you in? Yeah, it'd be good. Now it's just like uplifting experience instead of you told me 3 days and it's actually 27. It's like, nah, I don't. If you set expectations low, people are good. If you tell them 9 a.m., they're going to be looking out their blinds. If you tell them 9 to 10, nah, they're going to sit down on the couch. So like all these like little nitty gritty things that we've learned to make the experience better. It's all about expectation, a lot of it. And we just have the lens where it's like zoom in, zoom out. Okay, I know what's going to happen there. So we just train our team, our leadership team, best I can. Train the painters. Here's what you're going to do to avoid that. And that's where I love my seat of the business, head of operations, to help trickle in all of my knowledge down to my project manager, down to my painters.
So you mentioned experience. So that's very much what our business philosophy is creating an experience that is unusual in the industry, because in the building industry, it's not necessarily known to be the most enjoyable experience. And I think it's really, really important, working on someone's home. It's a huge investment of funds and time to do a project. And so it should be the most enjoyable thing ever.
Yeah, we try to say it like this, like once you the biggest legwork usually is selecting colors for homeowners. That's usually the biggest. I don't want to sign anything with you guys just yet because color is, holding me back. And so we're working on to make that more efficient. But it's like after that, as I know how painful that could be as a homeowner, kick your feet up, watch the magic happen. And that's where we come to play. Kick your feet up and let everything else. You're getting pampered at this point. You should be. That's why I like getting haircuts. I feel like I'm getting pampered, right? Every 2-3 weeks. Like I love to do that.
Mhm.
It's my way to like stay sane in the midst of the chaos, or the calm in the chaos for me. But as a homeowner myself, it's like, yeah, efficiency. So when I hire a business, I'm like, how's this experience going? It's kind of fun. Just
Mhm.
how efficient is this going to be, and what things might happen error wise? Because when you're dealing with the trades, like things are going to happen. And how is the business going to do it without you, the homeowner, saying, I
Mhm.
need a discount, or I need, I need this better looking. Like I told the homeowner, I could have easily let this backside of this unread text I referenced earlier. I could have easily have said like, yeah, that the back of the home looks great to me. Like you're all taken care of. But I was like, hey, the front looks great. Actually beautiful. These areas that touch up, but the back end, it needs some work, and we're gonna wait a little bit to repaint that. And so,
Hmm.
little tiny things over a long period of time they separate you from your competition.
Mhm. Yeah. Awesome. Oh, okay. What are some common painting mistakes homeowners make when they DIY or hire based solely on price?
It's 2 questions in one. See what I can do here. Answer the first one. Do it yourself errors. If you're spraying and you're like, oh, my buddy works for Graco. I heard this while playing volleyball with one of my teammates. Had
Mhm.
no idea her husband, I think, works for Graco, where they create these sprayers.
Mhm.
Oh, I'll just have one. And wow, my brain just reminded me of her horrible experience. She didn't want to tell me, but
Oh
her
no.
horrible experience with hiring. She hired a roofing company that subcontracted the painting out, and the painting went horribly wrong. Single coated the house with spray. It was so patchy everywhere. They started ghosting her like crazy, and she didn't go with me because I was a higher price. So she didn't want to really tell me that she got her house painted and everything. Um, but it was so bold for her to eventually go, I got to be honest with you. I hired somebody else, and it's an absolute nightmare, and this and that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so bad. But that was a side tangent. Do it yourselfers with spray, the amount of prep that you need to do, how fast you're moving, recoat time, dry time, all these things that most homeowners don't even think about. How many gallons is pretty simple when they go to paint themselves. They really gallons. I mean, the most professionalized paint companies, they know exactly to the T how many paint gallons like this job is going to take.
Mhm.
That's why they're estimating at this. Usually the guy who's lowballing it is going to go to that homeowner potentially and say, I accidentally made a whoopsie, $400 more, because paint is expensive.
Mhm.
Paint has technology in it. Like paint is paint, but there are also paints that have technology in it, like an interior product. If you touch it, it can kill bacteria up to 48 hours. Like there's that kind of technology.
Mhm.
Or you have paint that when it rains, it like it suds up and washes itself on the exterior of homes.
That's
Like,
pretty cool.
yeah, it is. But like most people are like, oh, he was $400 cheaper. It's like, can I see the scope of work and what product he's using, what
Are
kind
you
of caulk he's
comparing
using?
apples to apples?
Yeah, we call it apples to apple pie. There's no way we're the same ever. There's never.
I love that.
Like you might be able to taste a little apple in there, but like this is pie. This is not an apple here. Yeah.
That's a nice analogy.
Yeah, like
I
cool, you
like
got some
that.
fruit. Have you ever tasted dessert? Not in the painting industry, you probably haven't.
Mm. Okay, so I have 2 questions on that. Okay, so we'll go paint costs versus one to the other. So, what makes a good paint versus a not so great paint?
Depends if we're talking outside or inside. Let's go outside.
Okay.
Outside can have some much better characteristics of differences,
Mhm.
drastic differences. Okay. Color retention is going to be one. That's going to be, I mean, if you spend on a cheaper product, you're going to get lower color retention. Everybody should be double coating their house if they're painting it.
That was my next question. How many coats do we need?
2 coats of paint on everything you touch at any time, absolutely ever, unless you're a property management company looking to recoat just to refresh and you're on a tight budget.
Mhm. So 2 coats,
2 coats.
it is.
I followed up with a homeowner yesterday while I was doing my follow-ups with my project manager, and one of them was a gal who was like, she was buying the product, and she said 1 coat. Because I asked her, how many gallons do you have? And she said 1 gallon to paint the whole bedroom. I'm like, it takes 2 gallons to paint a bedroom. Done this many, many, many times.
Uh-huh.
Are you planning on single coating that bedroom? And is that what you were thinking we would do if you were to hire us? Yeah. What's the problem with that? I go, no. That's not how we do business. 2 coats, because you're going to call me. And I said, you're going to call me. a day later after my tape's all up, my drop cloths are all up, and you're going to be able to see that the previous paint is ripping through.
Mm-hmm.
So you have durability, washability, color retention are really like the three main things that you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's some one-off products that are buco crazy and awesome that kill bacteria, wash themselves. Like there's some craziness, but for the most part, durability, washability, and then color retention is absolutely clutch for outside. Like if you're going to go through this investment, don't you want it to be shiny for a good chunk of time?
Yes.
And wouldn't you like want that $300 difference in paint? Like the guy's $300 cheaper than me, but his product is, it's like how many more years are you getting out of the color shine on your home?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody called our business and I filled in again to go on a sale, all these crazy fun sales stories. And it was, hey, I just want you to paint. It was a repeat customer. We painted their whole mantle, their trim, right when you walk in, their handrail, 2 different colors, a crazy transformation. Their kitchen cabinets, ceilings, walls in their home, but their doors. And like, hey, I bought some new doors. Can you repaint those 10 of them? As I walked up, I'm like, you guys need an exterior paint job like you would not believe. Please, if you're going to spend any money on investing in your home and like you guys are trying to like invest in your home, I want to take care of you. Look at this. This is, you're going to have rotted siding here in a bit if you don't hire me now to paint the outside. And then they ended up hiring us to paint or stain their fence and their front porch and those doors that they originally called me. But I was just educating them like, look, save your money. Don't even hire me on these doors. It's not a big issue whatsoever at this time. You need to invest on the outside of your home like now.
Yeah, because that's going to keep the water out. It's going
You seal things up.
Leave.
Caulking is a big thing. Like it's a one thing, again, like most contractors in the painting world are going to skimp out on. It's one of those things that just takes time. And so I'm like, you guys need to get this taken care of. And I say like recoating an exterior of your home is like putting sun lotion on your skin. You can go out. I mean, most houses get painted 8 to 12 years on average. I can be in the sun, let's say 48 hours, no sun lotion. I'm going to, it's going to fade. My skin's going to fade a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fade. But eventually it's going to blister. Eventually it's going to peel if you don't recoat it or reapply. That's what painting does to the outside of your home and siding. It helps to give it this, moist environment so it's not getting brittle.
Yeah.
And that's where you get peeling and flaking, and you see houses that are like peeling everywhere. It's like if you just painted, when you should have, which is every 8 to 12 years, you wouldn't have this issue.
Now, does that depend on environment?
100%. Everything. When you're looking at the data sheets, everything is environment.
Mm-hmm.
When you're looking at the spec sheet of a paint can, and this is just me digging and learning, that is made in an environment that doesn't have wind, doesn't have the sun.
Doesn't have humidity.
Right, doesn't have humidity.
Doesn't have rain.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, here's that sheet. Well, if you've painted a house a couple times, throw the sheet because like it's there to help guide you. It's still bumpers, but like you don't know how to toss this bowling ball down. How do you know you're even going to hit the pins? That's one bumper. Where's your other bumper? That's common sense. And that's like, I've done this before many, many times. 252 exterior projects last year, to be exact. So, yeah.
Wow. Okay. So you got those 2 questions all answered. Let's see. Okay. So what should clients look for when choosing a painting company if they're not just looking at good price, but a professional experience?
Check out their website.
Google them.
Everything should be the same. If you're looking for that professional experience, check out their website. I can't believe that most people don't. And again, it's because I'm learning and I'm scavenging the internet of all of our peers. Look at their website, see if it matches what they're saying on their Google. Look at all these reviews and look at the bad ones. It's okay. People are going to have bad reviews. We're human, right? How did the owners respond to them? That is so crucial. When I go to hire, that's what I look at. I don't even look at any of the good ones. I go to the lowest and I see what happened. And then I read, how did the owner respond? That's how I pick my contractors when I'm looking to shop. Or I know a guy who I like meet every Tuesday at a referral group and I trust him and I trust you or him in your home as well. So I'll refer, or I need some really expert advice and color experience. So I'll refer you. It's like these people we know and have met in the community. So it's like this overarching theme. I can't believe how many people don't do their research. And that's when I'm like, yeah, those are my favorites because they know how bad it can go. And I'm going to blow their minds on how easy it's going to be. Those are my favorites. I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel so bad for you. And in my head, I'm like, I'm excited. I can't wait to take care of you.
Blow you out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right. That's a good question. What's your advice to a young professional thinking about getting into the trades or especially on painting?
This is awesome question. Thank you for asking.
Mm-hmm.
So where do I even start with that? It's kind of like at the core of like your why, your purpose of what you do.
Mm-hmm.
I love entrepreneurship. I love it so much. When I was student teaching at Edison, because I went to school to become a teacher while running the business, and class would end and I'd be like, thank you for calling 605 Painting as the kids are entering, and I'd like
That's
be
awesome.
doing and dishing and project managing from afar. And then I ended up taking on the responsibility of kind of showcasing and teaching these young 8th graders the Youth Entrepreneurs program, which is
Oh,
kind of like
nice.
equivalent to like junior achievement in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But like the teachers who are teaching history and math and all this at 8th grade, they don't know anything about business. But they're having from their principals, like, you need to do this.
Yeah.
You need to teach about business. And I'm like, guys, I think I was year 2 or 3 in my business. I was like, I know a lot more than you guys do. Could I take this on? And yeah, so I ran with that. That's where I was like, dude, I love teaching, not only social studies, 8th grade. I was like, oh, cool. That was really fun. The kids were great. But like, I have this passion for business that I never even really knew existed, but I loved it. So I taught it there. And now I am able to teach all kinds of people. Like in my referral group, all these people, I'm the education coordinator in my referral group, because a lot of these younger businesses are just struggling to showcase themselves in a professional manner. It's very common. It's not just in the painting world. Painting, I mean, back up a little bit. What's the stereotype when I say like painter? Like, what do you think of? What's the visual you kind of have in your brain when you think of hiring painter?
Yeah. Someone comes in a vehicle that's not super great and they
Yeah.
pull out cans of paint and they are a mess.
Yeah, you said it, not me. We all have it in our brains.
Mhm.
And that's what we're up against. That's what we're trying to change. I'm trying to
Yeah.
change what you just said in your brain. I want you to hire us and you're like, oh yeah, that was not what I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when you go to hire a painter, that's what it's going to be. But yeah, education on that. That's where I was expanding on like the coaching aspect. I'm already coaching all kinds. I was on a Zoom call with a bunch of pastors who are looking to elevate and like get into entrepreneurship. That was last week. All over the nation. I was their main guest and they're asking me and like, hey, how did you do this? What about the marketing and the branding? And I'm like, dude, here's what I would do. I would not do that. They're showing me their yard signs. I'm like, nope, change that. Here's what you would do. And I'm like, man, this is a passion. I love doing it. You could do this all day, every day. And I'm like, I could probably start a business out of this too. Cause I love doing it. And if you love what you're doing, you're not really working.
Right. Exactly.
But I love 605 Painting and we love what we're doing there. And like Kyle, he's such a fantastic business partner that it's like, dude, we mesh well. Let's do this. But we're like, nah, we need to dive in. Don't get on the shiny object syndrome. Like just focus and hone on in.
Mhm.
And that's what we're like, I know we could do a lot of other things right now. I know we could start that other business. You look at some people's Facebook pages, co-owner of this, owner of this, owner of this. And it's like, cool, jack of all trades, master of none.
Mhm.
We are going to be the masters at executing residential and commercial repaints. The master. And that is what we're after.
Awesome. I love that. Okay, so a couple more questions. What is one myth about the painting industry that you'd like to bust, other than the stereotype?
Okay, that's a big one. What's a myth? Oh, it takes 1 gallon to repaint a bedroom. No, it doesn't. Not if you're doing it right.
That's very true.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be this ugly experience. It can be smooth. It can be smooth. It can be actually wonderful. It can be exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're after. I want it to be exciting. I want it to be fun. I want it to be easy. I don't know. I'm having a hard time exactly answering the myth, but yeah, just changing it in a very professional setting that you would never think you would come from a contractor, especially painting, which is like the one thing. I'm a painter. Everybody's painted. And I've heard I have 45 years experience. And I'm thinking, what were you doing for 45 years? Like you clearly weren't trying to learn. We're actively trying to learn.
Yeah. I think that's really unique because if you are learning, you're growing. And as you're growing, it's just always being a student says a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Learning new techniques, learning about new products, learning about how can we make our 1% better every single day. I think that speaks volumes.
No doubt. Yeah, that's why I love my job.
Okay, so we talked about this before we started rolling. How do you define success? Maybe not just in business, but in the impact 605 is making.
Yeah, I don't know if the session was started prior to answering that question.
No, it wasn't. We kind of talked about it earlier.
So Kyle and I, we come from humble beginnings, and some people do, and humble is a subjective word that you could, phrase however you like. But for Kyle and I, it was like paying the bills was the name of the game that we knew we wanted to do consistently, not having to worry about the water being shut off, phone bill. Having lunch money was a big thing for Kyle and I. It was like a bread and cheese sandwich. I was like, dude, that's not cutting it. That's not going to cut it for us in our future and our kids' We won't let that happen. So having those similar kinds of backgrounds, it was like buying a home would be, absolutely clutch because we rented all of our lives, rental home. And then it was like, okay, buying a home, that's success to us too. So we have like the same goals. Being able to pay the bills consistently, that's success. Number 2, and this is different for everybody, but that's like our mutual ones. And then it was getting married, and now he's engaged. The secret's out. He will be married here shortly. And then the last one was like, being able to afford a child. You can have a child at any stage of all of those, but being able to afford one to me was like, that's success. And that's what I want for all of my team, everybody down to my painters. I want all of that. So yeah, it's going to cost a little bit more money, but like these guys care. This is their career. This isn't a hobby. This isn't a chuck in a truck. This is Oscar, who is a career painter. This is his career, and he's willing to do a fantastic job. But it does cost a little bit more than chucking a truck.
I think that's really important because as we are in this trade situation that's going to get worse, we need younger people to come into the trades, which includes painting. And if we don't have that, it's going to be a catastrophic disaster.
Yes.
And so changing the narrative and changing the perception of the trades that you can have a fantastic career and you can get paid well and you can have success having a home and a family and paying the bills. I think that's it's huge.
Yeah, that's a completely like our conversation. That is complete one-off. Where did I want to go with that? Yeah, that's why I advocate for the youth to start their own business, like ASAP, ASAP. If $15, $20 an hour isn't cutting it, change it. I mean, the world is yours. This is America. Like,
you have the power to.
You do. And some people start a little farther back than most. And that's why I try to pour in, like, if you want it, I will help to my literally limits. I will help you. And I've had people that are the same thing. Like they're willing to help no matter how much. And I'm like, ooh, do I send this text at 11 o'clock? Will he, is he going to be upset? You're going to ask a question. It's like, I want to learn. These guys want to help back. But yeah, I mean, going to school, I have a 4-year degree. Cool. That's great. I don't know if I could buy a home in America with the wages that I was having without my wife, paying half. So it's like this difficult thing that, the youth is experiencing because housing rates are going so up. Like my sister and brother-in-law, they bought a home. I can't believe their mortgage. And I'm like, did you get a regular job? Like, how are you going to do that? I literally don't know.
Right.
I don't know how you're going to do it. I feel terrible for you. You're going to get a 4-year or whatever degree, and you're going to get an $80,000+ of debt. I was blessed with legs that could run and lungs that would make me last a while. So I was able to get a scholarship to pay for most of school. But while I was doing school and studying education, I was planning for a plan B, which was the business and having it. And that's why I was researching everything, business development, SEO, everything, painting everything while studying to teach kids about history. And now it's like, yeah, I would probably convince you, like, come have one sit down with me and I will pour into you as much as I humanly can. And I will change your mind instantaneously. You need to start a business right now. Instead of going in a 4 or 5 year degree, that's fantastic. I didn't study one business class in college. I'm sure it would have helped.
YouTube
and sped
University.
Up. YouTube, yeah. For me, when I was on my way to Mankato or Duluth, Minnesota for these cross country and track meets, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. We're on our way back, and I'm seeing these guys playing Rocket League and bump into some headphones, and I'm like, where are you going to
Time
be at?
to learn.
Where are you going to be at in 5, 4 or 5 years? Like, is that degree going to pay for your bills? I was already ahead of the game knowing it probably won't. And I'm going to plan. So I'm actively researching and everything because, like, yeah, there's no way I was going to I was not going to succeed in my world and let my wife have to go through that and all of her life.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Is there anything we haven't talked about that you want to add?
No, just thank you to my wife and thank you to my awesome team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. All right. Where can people find you online and how can they get in touch with you? And
Go
your
to
social
Google.
media.
Go to Google. Check us out. Our Facebook is the most like followed like in the country. We have a huge following on our Facebook. We get like average 6 shares a post. Again, value. If you're not showing value, what are you doing? If you like us on Facebook and follow us, you will be educated very quickly. We've since partnered with Sanders Media here in town. Justin, he's fantastic.
Yeah, he is.
I meet with him every Tuesday. I kind of shared my things of how I want value, and we've working with my project manager, myself and him with projects. And check out our Facebook. It's valuable information you're learning, and you'll go, ooh, wow, like, oh, I didn't know you did that. I didn't know you had to do that. So it's like we know as a team, but now we show it on social media. Facebook specifically, it's on our Instagram as well. It's on Google as well. We have YouTube videos as well. But Google, go to Google, check us out. Am I lying? I could be. Are we really a fraud? I don't know. Go check us out for yourself. Facebook is amazing. We get a lot of our business, most of our business, repeat referrals and organic just traction because people see it and go, yeah, these guys clearly must be a professional company.
Yeah, you do a lot of things that others don't. Makes you stand out.
We try. I mean, to me, it's pretty easy to stick out like a sore thumb when you answer your phone, you do what you say you're going to do.
Yeah.
Easier said than done, but we do it.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thanks for coming in. This was really great.
Yeah, no
Super
doubt. Thank you.
helpful. Yeah.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad he wasn't actually able to be here. It's much better without him.
We'll have him next time.
Yes, that's awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into a Well-Designed Home podcast. We hope today's episode inspired you to take the next steps towards creating the home of your dreams. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. New episodes are uploaded every Friday afternoon for your listening delight. We'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review to help more listeners discover the show. And while you're at it, sign up for our newsletter at timelessdesignsbymelissa.com to have every episode and other design-related items delivered directly to your inbox. Looking for more resources? Download our complimentary guide, How to Hire the Right Interior Designer, on our website to ensure your next project is a success. Stay connected with us on social media. Follow Timeless Designs by Melissa on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube for behind-the-scenes content, design tips, and so much more. If you're ready to start your own design journey or have questions, reach out to us at concierge@timelessdesignsbymelissa.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks again for joining us on a Well-Designed Home podcast. Until next time, here's to making every space a timeless reflection of you.